Hey guys, Alex here, GuitarForce.com. So in today's lesson I'm going to show you how to play a song called Vultures by John Mayer. And this was again kindly requested and supported by Clay, so big thanks goes out to him for the support. Again, this song is nothing too complicated, pretty straightforward. We got mainly the rhythm guitar going on, but of course we have at some parts the second rhythm guitar playing, and also we have some ad-libs and a little solo. So I'm gonna show you all of the parts in this lesson. If you're gonna need tabs and a backing track, they're gonna be available at GuitarForce.com or on my Patreon page. All of the links are gonna be in the description box down below. I will also try to post the cover, kind of playthrough of the entire song onto my other channel. If YouTube allows it, you can find the link in the description box down below. For the sound, I was using the VST plugin Guitar Rig as usual, and we're going to be in standard tuning. While you are checking out the picture of the preset, I'm going to play you my low E string so you can tune up and play along with this lesson. Alright, so as usual we're going to break up the song into parts. We're going to start off with the intro, and here we have only one rhythm guitar going on throughout the entire song. For the basic riff that we're going to be playing. So it's essentially we're playing one riff, kind of repetitive riff throughout the intro, verses and choruses. It's pretty much the same with the slight variations here and there. I'm gonna make a comment about that when we get to the differences. But in general we have this riff going on one rhythm guitar. So first I'm gonna play it through a couple of times, a few times the riff, and then we're gonna break it down. So it goes like this. Okay, so as you can see, it's been played with the finger picking, and the whole song, the riff is based on the F sharp minor scale, or A major chord, also the relative major chord, but it's being played in the place of the first position of the F sharp minor pentatonic. Right here. So like I said, it's a finger picking riff. So we start off with the double stop on the A and the D strings on the 14th fret with the slide bends of the both strings. So we're going to be doing this, alternating the kind of hitting the muted strings with the right hand, right, with the picking hand, and alternating it with the double stops and the single notes. And if you by chance hit a single note instead of double stop, or vice versa, that's totally fine. So yeah, back to the beginning. So we start off with the double stop, 14th fret of the A and the D strings with the slide bend. Then we have muted strings. Then we have 16th fret on the A string. Then we go for the second double stop, which is going to be on the D string 14 and G string 13, and you give it a little vibrato here. Then another hit of the muted strings. Then we're back to the A string 16, another muted strings. Then again we have the double stop, 14th fret with the slide bend, again muted strings. Then again 16th fret on the A. Then we have the double stop, but we played 2/8 notes instead of 1/4 note, so 2/8 notes here, muted strings, and then back to 16 on the A string. So that's the main riff of the song. So one more time, just slowly it's gonna go like this. Okay, so this is the riff that we play during the verses, actually, like that. Now, in the intro, you can hear a sound after you play this riff like this. So after the second double stop on the 14 and 13, you can hear this note, which is on the 16th fret of the G string, instead of, you know, the muted strings. And he plays this only during the intro. Now, I'm not sure if he's playing it or, you know, accidentally he hits the muted strings. Also, this note can be heard, I mean, you can play it on the, like a harmonic on the B string 12th fret, or the actual note. So I don't know if he did it on purpose or not, but you can hear it slightly. It's being played lightly in the kind of like a background when he's playing this riff, and it's just you can hear it in the intro, and then later on when we get to the verse and chorus and the rest of the song, you don't hear it. Maybe it's played on the second guitar. You know, he could be he could have recorded it as an overdub. But if you want to emulate that, you can do. So I'm doing a hammer-on. It's like a hammer-on from nowhere. So I'm not picking it, but just hammering on with my finger, and then going to the 16th fret on the A string. So it's like that. And it's just a little trick that you can add to your own playing. So you play this during the intro. So you can hear it not as loud as if you would pick the rest of the notes, but you know, it's like I said, it's hammer on from nowhere, but the note is going to be there. So if you want to, you can add that into your playing when you play the intro. All right, so that's the riff. It's the main riff of the song. So like I said, in the intro, we just add that note here, and when we get to the verses and also the choruses, it's just a kind of straight playing of the riff without that note. So it's going to be like that. All right, so we go through to the next section, which is the verse, like I said. So we play this riff. The verse is being played for 8 bars, so we just play this riff for 4 times, because the riff is 2 bars altogether from start to finish. Then we get to the chorus. Now for the chorus, the first 4 bars, in other words 2 times when we play the riff, is exactly the same as the rest of the song, the intro and the verse. And then when we go for the 3rd time, so here we're slightly changing the pattern, or you know, it's played slightly differently. So I'm gonna play it through, and then we're gonna break it down. It goes like this. The second part of the chorus goes like this. Okay, so here the beginning is exactly the same as what we did for the main riff. And now when we get to the second bar, we have So it's muted strings 14 on A, muted strings 16 on A, muted strings, then we have double stop 13, 14, 13, muted strings back to 16 on A, another muted strings, and then we have, so it's double stop 14, 13, and then you play 2 times 16 on the A string, muted strings again, and then again. You can add the double stop here, but not necessarily. You can play just a single note. Then another muted strings, once the double stop, muted strings 16 on the A, and then double stop, and you finish it off like that. So let me play one more time the whole thing. The ending of the chorus is gonna go like this. Now we end it like this. There is a rest, and actually in the end of the riff, when you hit the last double stop, we have a feel of the lead guitar. So I'm gonna show it to you how it goes. It goes like this. So for the feel, it goes like this. We slide into the 16th fret on the A string, then you go on the D 14, 16, 14 on G, and we stay on this note for the whole bar. Then we have another rest for 2 beats, then we repeat, kind of repeat the first part, so we have slide again into the 16 on the A. Then you go 14, 16 on D. Then we have, so it's 2 grace note. Grace note meaning a quick hammer on. So it's on the G string 14 to 16. So you play it once, little rest, then again, and then back to 14 on the G, add some vibrato, and then in the end we have, so it's a quick pull off hammer on 16, 14, 16 on the D string, add some vibrato, and then slide out from the 16th fret on the A string. So all together, one more time, the whole feel is gonna go like this. Alright, so now I'm gonna go a little bit back and play the whole chorus, all of the 8 bars, and then we get right into the first feel, just to show you how you can play if you're playing the whole thing on just one guitar. So it goes like this. Alright, so now I'm gonna mention that during the choruses we have a second guitar which is playing just on one note, but it's playing a rhythmical figure. It's a little bit tricky one in terms of the rhythm to get it down, but it's kind of like it has a funky feel to it, and we're gonna break it down bar by bar, and then I'll put the whole line together and we'll play without a stop. But it starts off with the off beats. So the first beat is, the first hit is actually happening on the one end, and we start off with 2 16th notes followed by 2 8th notes. It's all palm muted, D string 4th fret, so it's 1 and you start playing. So 2 16th notes followed by 2 8th notes. Then we have a rest of 1 beat and a half, and then on the 4 end we start playing 16th notes again, 2 of these, and we move into the second bar, continue playing the 16th note. So for the whole bar, for the whole beat, I'm sorry, we play 4 16th notes. Then again we have 2 beats rest. Then on the 4th beat again, on the off beat, we have 2 16th notes. Going into the 3rd bar, we have 8th note followed by 2 16th notes. So we have and then we have another 8th note in the end. Then we have another rest, and then again on the 4th beat, on the 4 ends, we have 2 16th notes going into the last bar, the 4th bar, and here we have 2 beats. The first 2 beats, the first beat is 4 16th notes, and we continue playing on the second beat another 2 16th notes followed by an 8th note. Rest, and then on the 4th beat we have 4 16th notes. I know it sounds complicated when I talk about it like that, but that's the explanation in terms of the notes, the length of the notes, and so on and so forth. But once you break it down, and if you can keep your foot going to give you the sense of the rhythm of the beats, then it takes a little bit of time to get used to it. I mean, in terms of playing the notes and the rests, but once you get it, it all comes down to just keeping the rhythm going and playing the rhythmical figure. Like I said, it's not an easy one in the beginning, but once you get it, you can do it. So I'm gonna play one round of these without stopping, and it's gonna go like this. Alright, so you can practice it with the click, maybe slow down a little bit and play to a metronome with the click or something like that, so the rhythm is kept going, and you play this figure, and then you can, once you get used to it, you can speed it up. One more time, the whole thing is gonna go like this slowly. Alright, so now getting back to the structure of the song. So when you play this rhythmical figure during the chorus, basically you play 8 bars. So you play the 4 bars and then you repeat it once again. So you're playing 2 rounds of this rhythmical figure. And this line, the guitar number 2, this line is being played during the choruses, the first and second, and also during the solo, the organ solo that is going on after the guitar solo. And then we have the same kind of line during the last chorus, and then when we go into the outro, it's slightly different. John is playing a variation of this, but it's kind of the same thing. You can even improvise and create your own line, as long as you have these kind of rests and also alternating between 16th notes and 8th notes. And like I said, it's kind of like just a funky rhythm line. And like I said, you can experiment and come up with your own, or you can use the same one in the outro as well. Alright, so moving on. So now it comes down all to the structure. So after the chorus and the first fill, we go into the, it's kind of like, actually the fill is interlude, kind of part of the interlude, connecting the 2 parts together. So after the fill, we go into the second verse, exactly same riff as we did for the first one. Then we go into the chorus. The chorus is exactly the same as the first one, with the exception of just one added double stop in the end. So it's just an additional double stop here. You can hardly hear it, but it's there. I mean, this is a really minor detail, but if you want to, you can include that in your second chorus. But we're gonna jump into the solo. So after the second chorus, we have a solo, and we're gonna break it down. So you can play it with the pick or with the fingers, however you want to. But we're gonna break it down into the we're gonna break it up into parts, into licks and phrases. So the first lick is gonna go like this. All right, I'm gonna stop right here. So that's the first 4 bars. So we start off with the bend on the 16th fret of the G string. Then it's followed by a second bend on the 15th fret, kind of half a step bend on the same string. So you have, then we have, so 2 16th notes on the 16th fret of the D string, go into the G14 with a slide bend, and then back to 16th fret on the D string, add some vibrato, then pick that note again, and then we go into 14 on the G, 16 followed by 2 bends and releases, kind of gradual bends and gradual bends and releases, like that. Little rest, then we have, so on the G string again 15th fret with the slide bend, kind of half a step bend. Then we have 16 on the D, quickly go into the 14 on the G, and then you hammer on onto 16th fret, and we have a few rests there. So one more time the whole thing from the beginning. Then the next phrase goes like this. Okay, so that's the second part of the solo. So it starts off with the 3 bends on the 16th fret again on the G string. So they're played on the offbeat, so that gives it this sort of an offbeat feel to it. Little rest, then we have 2 16th notes on the 14th fret of the B string, going to 17 on the same string, then you have bend on the 16th fret of the G string, bend it up, bring it down, then go to 14. Staying on this note a little longer, then we have, so you pick 16th fret, then you bend it up, quickly bring it down, stay on this note a little bit longer, then pull off 14, go into 16 on the D string. Then we have, so here we have a rake, so I'm muting these strings and dragging the pick across the strings. My target note is 14 on the G string. Just make sure that you don't hit accidentally the harmonic, the natural harmonics. So it's 14 on the G, then we have bend up 16th fret, bring it down, pull off 14, going quickly to the 16th fret on the D string, and picking that note 2 times, staying on the last note for the rest of the bar, adding some vibrato. One more time, the second part of the solo. Alright, so now I'm going to play the whole solo, all of the parts together, and it's going to go like this. Okay, so after the solo we go back to playing the verse number 3. Exact same riff as we did with the first two verses. Then we get into the chorus. Now the chorus in the end is slightly different to the first two choruses. I'm gonna play through the entire chorus, then we're gonna break down the ending. So it goes like this. Okay, so as you can see, the first 4 bars, the first 2 times that we play the riff is exactly the same. And then the ending, so it starts off again with the first part, just like we did for the first and second chorus. So we have... So here is where the difference begins. So after the double stop on the 14, 13 frets, we then have 16 on the D going 16 on the A string, and then we have, so it's a double stop 14 13 alternating with the 16 on the A, and we do it for 2 times. Muted strings, then you have, so double stop followed by 2 16th, 2 eighth notes on the 16th fret of the A string. So it's, and then we are back again to this part. So we have the double stop alternating with the 16th fret on the A, 8th notes. Muted strings, and then again we have, so it's kind of like repeated phrase where you have, right, and then again. So basically play for 2 times like that, with the part of the first part of the chorus. Okay, and that's the ending of the chorus, of the third chorus, and then we get into it's kind of like an outro, the last part of the song, where John is just playing the main riff of the song, basically without any changes. And so on and so forth. Now we have another additional guitar here, a lead guitar, which is playing with the volume swells. So what that means is that you can either do it on the guitar or you can do it with a pedal if you have a pedal. But it's basically you roll down the volume on your guitar, you play the note, and then you bring up the volume so it goes from nothing to, you know, to the note. And I'm just gonna outline the notes here. The rest you have to just listen carefully when it's played. But we have the 14 on the high E string, going to 16 on the B, and then 14 on the B. Little rest, then again you repeat this note. Then you have the whole bar of silence, and then again we have 14 on the B string. Then it's a double stop on the 16th fret of the B and the G strings. Another bar of silence, and then we have 17th fret on the B string, a bend. So if you do it with the volume on your guitar, like I said, you bring it down all the way to the 0, you hit the note, you bring up the volume, at the same time you're bending the string. And obviously, you know, you're gonna need a little bit more of a sustain on your sound, so it sounds, you know, it's the note rings out and stays. But that's the additional guitar in the outro part. Like I said, you know, John is just playing the riff. Until the end of the song. Basically the song fades out and that's how the song ends. Alright guys, that was it for this lesson. I hope you liked it. If you did like it, please give it a thumbs up. Also comment, share, subscribe if you're new to my channel. Don't forget to visit GuitarForce.com for more guitar lessons. In the meantime, I'll see you again. Take it easy, and as always, let the force be with you.